I have faith that the Constitution will be saved as prophesied by Joseph Smith. But it will not be saved in Washington.
And a major city yet to be determined in Russia.
Travis Wingutzel. So was I right or what? Mormons do not know Mormonism. As Mormons are putting thumbs down on that video as well as all my other videos. It is a religious hate crime. Mormons cannot go without being judged. People have to judge you. If you refuse to let people judge you, we now can judge you as bad. You have to let us judge you. And Mormons claim they're Christian. Mormons claim Jesus is their Christ. We can now judge you as being false. Not just because you're not supposed to be Christian, but because you chose Constantine's creation. Growing up in the church, I've recognized, as I've heard many other Mormons recognize, scriptural contradictions. And people don't understand. We did not understand. But for me, I did the research to find out the answers. And the ones that I couldn't figure out at the time, I set them aside, got to them later. Eventually I found out and figured them out. But for Mormons, who are only going to stick with what the church tells them to believe, and only read what the church tells them to read, and get away with it by saying, well, I go to church. Isn't that good enough? Yeah, they don't even care to be Mormon, let alone know what being Mormon is. And then get mad when we call them Mormon now. We're not Mormon. We're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Jesus is angry. When you call us Mormon, you're the hater. You have to be on the defensive, not the offensive. When you're on the offensive, you are the hater. Mormons are the haters. Because Mormons claim, from the outset, they're Christian. And so, here's a homework assignment for all of you. The majority of you are my age and above. But regardless of your age, go tell your family members, your friends, Mormon friends, obviously. Ask them, who is the Mormon Christ according to the learning of the Jews? And if you're confused, again, you don't know Mormonism. Every single one of you know this. I hear numerous Mormons, after one Mormon gave a talk about it, adopt it for themselves as their excuse to not read the book of the Isaiah portion of the Book of Mormon. And so they keep rereading the Book of Mormon over and over and over and over again until they get to Isaiah. And then it's too complicated, so I'm not going to keep reading. Everybody makes that excuse. Well, Isaiah is being fulfilled. We can now understand it. Did you know that? No, of course not. You don't even know what it means to be Mormon. So, 1 Nephi chapter 1, verse 2. Nephi says he makes a record in the language of his father, which consists of the learning of the Jews. And how does it have to do with the Christ? Nephi, or Lehi, talked about here in this first chapter, tells them about the book that he had received in a pillar of light, exactly over his head, above the brightness of the sun, which descended gradually until it fell upon him. And in the midst of the light, he was given a book. And he didn't make the connection to the parallels. So Lehi tells the Jews to be good, or you're going to be destroyed by Babylon. And the Jews mocked him. Just like Mormons mock me. Go figure. Because of the things which he testified of them. Wow, it's like the scriptures are likened unto me. For he truly testified of their wickedness and abominations, and he testified of the things which he saw and heard, and also the things which he read in the book, manifested plainly of the coming of a Messiah. Well, that's not a Christ. Who's this Messiah? That's some Jewish thing. Yeah, go figure. It's the learning of the Jews. A Messiah is a Christ for the Jews. Christ is Greek, Messiah is Hebrew. And so the Book of Mormon tells us that the Christ is in the learning of the Jews. So why do you keep going around telling people, oh, we're Christian, Jesus is our Christ? That's not the learning of the Jews. And the video I did today made it very clear, and Mormons put thumbs down. You can't see it anymore. YouTube allows people to abuse others and threaten others in the privacy of people's own channels. Isn't that great? Hate crimes by the platform owner. And so yes, the Jews are angry, just like Mormons are angry, and put thumbs down on my videos. Amazing how the Book of Mormon is so true. And so, another contradiction that, popular Mormons have made the news with, James Huntsman and that billionaire guy, they're upset that the church had always told us that Joseph Smith translated the Book of Mormon, and though by the gift and power of God, we understood it as he looked at the plates and dictated it as translated to Martin Harris and then to Oliver Cowdery. But then it came out that, Joseph Smith had a rock and a hat thing going on, and he was arrested for it, and Martin Harris knew about it because the rock was found in the well that he dug for Martin Harris on his farm. And so Martin Harris talked about it, and then that document was found. And so the church comes out and says, well, yeah, we told you it was by the gift and power of God. Here's the rock. We have no problem telling you. And people are upset with that and are leaving the church. And I keep screaming, no, that's not the problem. Because the church still gets to claim they're the one true church from Joseph Smith. And what's the problem with that? Did Sidney Rigdon go with Brigham Young to this valley? Did Oliver Cowdery go with Brigham Young to this valley? Did William Smith go with Brigham Young to this valley? Did Emma Smith go with Brigham Young to this valley? You seeing a pattern here? The answer is no, in case you didn't know. None of the original Mormons went with Brigham Young, except for Martin Harris who is called the wicked man. And in case you don't understand, I've been trying to get the word out to you that the Ex-Mormon Foundation did a video series from a lecture by linguists, scientific field of analyzing linguistic science, and going through the Book of Mormon and comparing it with Oliver Cowdery, Parley P. Pratt, and Sidney Rigdon, as well as the Bible. They found that the Book of Mormon was mostly written by Sidney Rigdon. And now we go down further in a rabbit hole as Mormon apologists say, well, Sidney Rigdon didn't join the church until December of 1830. How could he have written the Book of Mormon? Duh. But ex-Mormons aren't making the connection either. See, the church is allowing the rock in a hat and taking the blow from it, even though they excommunicated September 6th for exposing it, who they tried to reconcile the two together, which is what the church is now doing. But they did the dirty and excommunicated them. Is that the church continues to distract you away from the real truth that Sidney Rigdon is the major author of the Book of Mormon. And how would that change real church history? Because Joseph Smith didn't mention Sidney Rigdon helping with the Book of Mormon. He didn't even mention the rock in a hat. It's his 1838 history that had editings, from Willard Richards by order of Brigham Young to change Nephi to Moroni, for example. But notice Joseph Smith does not call the personage who had a discourse with him in the first vision Jesus. Why? Does that have anything to do with the learning of the Jews, maybe? And then Nephi, rather than Moroni, comes to Joseph Smith and gives him Egyptian gold plates. The Book of Mormon. Not golden, but again, apologists want to distract, take you down rabbit holes to argue over gold versus golden, rock in a hat versus translation. And so if Joseph Smith did not mention either, why are both sides so defensive about their position when Sidney Rigdon is the major author of the Book of Mormon? And it says in the Book of Mormon that Mormonism is after the learning of the Jews. We're not Christian. It even says the first creed of Christianity is an abomination in his sight. And I keep going over and 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 over about Constantine and the first creed of Christianity. And so why are Mormons so upset with me? Why are Mormons acting like the villains of the Book of Mormon when they claim they're the good guys? Oh, we're the one true church, one true Christian church. Jesus Christ talks to our prophets. Oh, right, it means your church is a fraud and false. But Joseph Smith is still true and good. The Book of Mormon is true and good. What happened? How does that work? Is it a contradiction, Travis? Again, none of the original Mormons went with Brigham Young. Pause for effect. Let it sink in. Let the light bulb go off in your head. The church knows nothing of the origin of the church. But they claim succession, true succession, the one true succession. That all the others are wrong, even the origin characters. Emma Smith, wrong. William Smith, wrong. Sidney Rigdon, wrong. Only Brigham Young is true. You catching on? And so, for Mormons, if you really didn't know, because you really didn't bother to study, what are you going to do now? Are you going to stick with the church? The church is being exposed by me as being sympathetic to Putin. They've got to leave America. We're at war with Putin. Putin has declared war against the world. And people are being forced to pick sides. This isn't something you can sit on the fence with anymore. Because if you're a Russian or a Russian sympathizer and you're not catching the plane out of America to go to Russia, as I just reported today, why are you still in America other than to destroy it? To be a sleeper cell? You don't want to be American. You side with Putin. And so the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has to go. They paid Putin. In a temple in a major city yet to be determined in Russia. They paid Putin for Ezekiel 38 in the heading, according to Christian interpretation. The church and all their prophets and all their leaders, all the way down to Mormons who support Putin, have to go. You don't want to be here other than to destroy America from within. This is why the church keeps pushing religious freedom, to overthrow the Constitution and use religion as an excuse to commit crime. I've been exposing this for you. The church are the enemy. So again, if you didn't know any of this, you now have to make a choice. To stick with the church and be the enemy of mankind, or get out and condemn the church along with Putin. No ifs, ands, or buts. The church will not raise their voice against Putin. They've raised their voice in support of Putin. And they must go. And I'm being generous because treason and seditious treason and conspiratorial seditious treason, the punishment, according to our legal system, is capital punishment. And so by me demanding you leave is me being merciful to you. Because if the government of the United States gets around to it, they're not going to be as merciful. And so don't bother, pretending to support the United States and denouncing Putin when in your heart you still support Putin. Because you will be exposed. You're not that clever. Just leave. Pack up what you can and go. Find an airport close to Belarus and cross the border. Find an airport close to the border of Russia and go. You don't want to be here, so go. Not like the Utah slogan, welcome to Utah, now go home. No, there is no welcome for haters of humanity who side with Putin. White supremacy hates the Jews. They're racist, they're sexist, they're bigoted, they hate and neglect the poor. Oh, gee, that's what the church does. Go figure. Joseph Smith was Jewish. Technically, pre-captivity Jewish, Israelite, Egyptian. And thus, Brigham Young wanted nothing to do with it. And yet, you've been born and raised, indoctrinated into hate. To attack when people tell the truth. To attack when people expose you as the haters, the criminals, the abusers. And again, leave. You want to be bad, you want to be a part of the evil empire, you want to overthrow the world governments and America. Just leave. And you won't, will ya? You're just going to cower, put the thumbs down, continue to prove that I'm right.